Hi there, Sarah here from Scattered Pictures Art, and I have a new collection of altered file folders, vintage style, with traveler's notebook inserts and lots of other goodies stuffed in there. So there are 6 of these. So I'll show you each of the 6, and then I'll flip through one of the traveler's notebooks because they're all very similar, and any differences will be shown in the pictures for the listings in my Etsy shop. So let's get started. So each of the folders has a little tag on it with a number, so 1 through 6, so you'll know for the Etsy listing what you're getting. And it's craft file folder, and I've collaged it with paper from Pride and Prejudice, eyelet, coffee dyed eyelet trim. There's vintage music, coffee dyed paper, cheesecloth, some pearl trim, 2 little mini envelopes. Lori Fusco makes these, so thanks Lori for that idea. Little wooden button with some vintage linen thread sewn into it, a piece of doily. Inside the tracing paper envelope there's a teeny tiny little journaling card. And each of the altered folders comes with a handmade boho bead. So that is attached with a rusted safety pin. And it does have a lobster clasp, so you can take it off and attach it somewhere else. It's got glass pearl beads, some little rhinestone bead spacers, tulip bead caps, and then it's wrapped with sari silk and eyelash trim and beaded wire with glass seed beads. And the end has a little bell on it. Okay. So that's the front. And then if we flip it over on the back, there is, let's start with this. So this is all hand stitched and embroidered. So this is a little applique that I put on, and I backstitched through the pattern there, added some French knots in the center, and just some long stitches on the leaves. And then I've done hand stitching to make the patchwork. Little piece of doily there. And then I've stamped on muslin this ornate vintage patch. Okay. And then once I'd finished hand stitching, I machine sewed a muslin backing and hand stamped on the muslin this vintage collection stamp and made a pocket on the back. And inside that pocket is a vintage order form. So it's from H. O'Neill department store. And I've just printed old paper pattern on the back. All the ephemera in these 6 altered folders is from my A Vintage Ladies Dressing Room printable, which is on my Etsy. So if you want to have a look at that, pop over to my Etsy. The link will be below. So that's the hand stitched tag. And then there's also this corset tag. So it's craft and it has a stamp. There's a pocket here with the burlap and lace. And then the corset stitching is, what is this called? Seam binding. Losing my mind. Little cutout. It's either a corset or a tag, depending on the file folder that you get. And this is from the Stamperia collection. It's more of that pearl trim, the same as on the front. And then on the back, through the lacing, I thought that was an awesome spot to tuck in some of these tickets. So these are from the Tim Holtz stamps and dies. So there's 3 of those tucked in the back there. And then each also comes with this book page envelope that I made. So I've stamped on muslin again, and this is a graphic 45 stamp. It's an old one. It's from the Le Romantique collection, and it's a hole-proof hosiery ad that they've created into a stamp. There's ruffled sari silk, some more of the pearl trim, some lace, some metal a metal corner on the edge of the envelope, some more of the gold wax. And inside each of Handmade envelopes is a stamped index card with the same stamp as on the muslin on the front. So lots, some room for writing there. Okay. So there's a large burlap and lace pocket on the back of each file folder. I've also done some script stamping, stamping of these watermarks, coffee rings, and the gold wax. And then inside each folder is a traveler's notebook. So this is one. I'm going to flip through this. Actually, I'll flip through it now, and then you can decide if you want to watch the rest to see what's in each of the other ones. So each traveler's notebook has a big tulle bow holding it closed, and that's removable, so you can take it right off. And it has a corset image from the Stamperia collection sewn onto muslin and some dyed cheesecloth. It's a craft cardstock cover with the script stamping and the coffee rings and water spot stamping, the gold wax, wax linen thread holding in the signature, sewn all around the edge, and lined with page from a vintage book of quotations. And I used the index pages. I liked how they looked on the inside, and I've reinforced the spine with a little strip of muslin here, just to make sure that the stitching doesn't pull through. There is a corner pocket on the inside front cover and a coffee dyed shipping tag with "This book belongs to" stamped. Waxing paper that I've stenciled with a really pretty stencil. Okay. And this is from an embroidery book, so in a little side pocket here. This is from the Vintage Ladies Dressing Room printable kit, so it's a hole-proof hosiery ad with index cards sewn on the back. Some coffee dyed notebook paper, a page from the Vintage Sears catalog reproduction, and it has a corset trade card just folded over the page, inked. This is on cardstock. It's also from the printable, and this flips out and there's a little tab there. And the card is just held on with a rusty paper clip. Some coffee dyed paper with, this is the imprint of a old trivet that I have. I thought it looked pretty. This is some Japanese calligraphy paper, so it's rice paper. It's really, really thin, and I love the frayed edge on it. So, a Pride and Prejudice book page, some more notebook paper coffee dyed, a glassine bag coffee dyed, and this has a receipt in it, also from the printable. It's from a corset shop. So, some more coffee dyed paper, this time with some polka dots on it. This is paper from the Stamperia collection, and I've just created a pocket, folded it up. I've left the strings from the binding long so that you can add charms or beads if you want, or cut them off. There's no room in the folders to add extra charms, so they're just plain. A Bonton corsets ad sewn onto coffee dyed index card. A vintage catalog page. This one's from an Eaton's catalog. And this is also from the printable. Some more polka dot, the other side of the polka dot paper, and this has a fold out with some edge punching. The other side of the glassine bag with another corset trading card, all linked up. Coffee dyed notebook paper, the other side of the Pride and Prejudice page. These pages were a little fragile, so I have reinforced them with some washi tape. This one has a stamped Rolodex card with a little fabric cluster, so it's got some of the fabrics from the fabric tags that I made, some muslin, lace, and some tulle, and it's sewn on with the vintage linen thread and a little pearl button. And some coffee dyed lace down the edge of that little tuck. The other side of the rice paper, coffee dyed paper, catalog page, notebook paper. This is the embroidery page, and I've got a little craft envelope here that I've stamped on and just tucked in there. It's a little extra journaling space with some stamping. And another journaling card sewn onto coffee dyed card. The other side of that masking paper that is stenciled. And the back with some more of that vintage book page. So that is collection 1. And 2, yeah, so there's 2. This is the front. This one has the little butterfly applique, the embossed vellum, the little tracing paper envelope, and music paper envelope, and a sari silk bow. There's the boho bead, and the button. And then on the back, we've got the corset tag. This fabric tag has a rolled rose rather than the floral applique. It does have the ornate vintage patch. Again, all hand stitched. And this pocket is lower because I couldn't sew up higher because of the rolled rose. So it just folded down a bit shorter. And it's also got that receipt in it. Okay. The handmade envelope with the ruffled sari and the pearl trim and the stamped muslin also has the index card in it. And this one, so there's the traveler's notebook for this one. And as I said, the inside, the pages are exactly the same. The only difference will be some of the journaling cards, and the catalog pages will be slightly different, but they are all vintage sewing machine catalog pages. Okay, so that's collection 2. And this is 3. There's the boho bead. This one also has the butterfly applique, the doily, cheesecloth. Okay. Corset tag. Hand sewn fabric tag, another rolled rose, embroidery, the order form, handmade envelope, and here's the cover of this traveler's notebook. So that is collection 3. This is collection 4. There's the boho bead, vintage music paper, mini envelopes, doily, trim, embossed vellum. There's the corset tag, the hand sewn tag, handmade envelope, and there is the cover of this traveler's notebook. So that's collection 4. Get that out of the way. This is 5. There's the boho bead. Front, this has the butterfly applique, but I've left it white. A little tracing paper pocket, sari silk bow, violet lace. Corset tag. Hand sewn tag with the floral applique and the stamped patch. Handmade envelope. And this is the cover of this traveler's notebook. Just love this Stamperia collection, it's so beautiful. So that's collection 4. Nope, that's 5. Sorry, 5. And this is 6. So we've got the pearl trim, violet, embossed vellum, the mini envelopes and the button, boho bead, corset tag, the hand sewn tag. This has the rolled rose, the ornate vintage patch, order form, handmade envelope, and this is the cover for 6. So that is my newest journal collection. I hope you like it. If you're interested in purchasing one of these, they will be listed in my Etsy, hopefully by the time this video uploads. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye!